If you have been looking towards reprogramming yourself or dissolving your ego so that you can live a life free from all of the challenges that you've been having in your life, all of the insecurities, doubts, overthinking, and so on, then this video is going to show you exactly how you can step into a new life where the ego isn't getting in your way anymore. And first of all, we just need to understand that the ego, you don't focus on getting rid of the ego. You don't focus on trying to kill the ego or trying to reprogram yourself, because all of those things is something that happens effortlessly for you when you start to come alive again, who it is that you truly are. Because who you truly are is not the ego and these programs that you've been living by for the longest time. Your essence comes from in here. And the ego only ever served what you wanted it to do. So when your focus and your awareness is not coming from the source of who it is that you are and is instead placed on the ego and its programs at all times, you're choosing the ego with your awareness every single day, instead of choosing to be present with your true self. And as long as you're doing this, you're continuously telling the ego, protect me from this by keeping me occupied in here. And then of course, as we live here for so long, we get lost into this place of this human, of this character that we're playing. And then we get lost in that and believe that we are this, when in reality you come from in here, and that you are everything. And that having programs that was challenging, that took you to any other place in your life that was not that of how you would truly want it if you could choose, only ever happened because of your choice to continue to place your awareness, feeding into those things that kept you distracted from this place here within you. You have to realize that the ego is always creating itself on the suppression and the distraction from your emotional state in here, because the emotional state is your energy. You're not supposed to do first and feel second. You're supposed to feel first and do second. That's when you're operating from your authentic self and using the ego as a tool for your authentic self. But when the ego and mind comes first, you always do something without first feeling into your intuition and your guidance system that is your whole being. Instead, starting the process up here. And so because of that, having all of these challenges and stuff, because challenges do arise because we're suppressing and rejecting this. And the only way for us to be suppressing and rejecting this is if we are always occupied doing something as to take us away from this moment. We have goals, we want to achieve things, we want to get somewhere, we want a better experience to come around at all times. We're always looking for something. Because we're too afraid to embrace what we truly are here and now. Don't focus on killing the ego. Don't focus on dissolving the ego, because you can never do such a thing. The ego naturally moves out of the way, out of your service that you've chosen it for all this time, when you choose to come alive, when you choose to feel yourself again. Because the ego was only ever there because you chose to not feel yourself anymore. The ego is built upon the rejection of what is being felt within you. Of course, we don't understand this because it's an unconscious process. We get lost in the character after a while. We don't understand that this world even exists because it becomes numb to us. As we're living here for too long, we don't understand that we have this whole world within us that is always on lockdown. Tesla is making some noises here. Are you okay, Tesla? Huh? When you allow yourself to come alive again from within, to move your awareness back into who it is that you truly are, what you truly are, from here, then the ego naturally moves out of the way, because it only ever served you by you choosing to not be in this place. And it created itself on the suppression of this place. But the ego dies, moves out of the picture, when you allow yourself to feel again. So you don't have to think about how to reprogram myself, how to do this, how to do that. All of that simply falls into place when you allow yourself to feel again. Because that's when you tap into source, into the flow of the universe again. And so all of these challenging things that we're going through, all of the overthinking, the procrastination, or not going outside of our comfort zone, or whatever it is that you're struggling with, people pleasing, or so many of these things that keeps us down, is because we believe on some level that we are this character with these problems and these issues. Which of course only ever arose because we were rejecting this place. And then we get lost in that character, in the ego. But it only ever happened because we continuously, and continue to this day, choose the ego. And so how do you start choosing yourself? How do you start choosing who you really are? You allow yourself to become present with who you are again. And there's a million ways of doing it. There's no right or wrong way of doing this. It's not about a right or wrong way. And that's also a beautiful thing to just realize, that you can't go wrong. Only if you're experiencing yourself as a human with all of these issues and this right or wrong way of doing things are you going to come to that point. You could have addictions that appears to be the issues of your life, the problem of your life, that actually in the end you realize that this addiction was not a problem at all. It was actually a tool that I was using right now because of what I was trying to suppress. And so as long as I'm not trying to suppress something, I could go back to this thing that at one point in my life was hurtful for me and do the exact same thing and enjoy it, because my inner self changed. And so this thing is not right or wrong. It's just about how something taps you into what you're feeling in this moment. In some cases, you might sit down to do a meditation, in which case you are being present and connecting back to your true self. If you do it from a place of not trying to change anything, but to truly become aware of what's going on within you without judging or trying to change it anymore. But if you go into a meditation and you say, oh, I'm going to sit here for 40 minutes and I'm going to focus on how to improve or like release these old things or whatever it is, then you're still in that ego place of things. When you sit down to meditate, it's as much of a true meditative practice as sitting on the computer in some cases. Like sitting at the computer can be the most meditative practice if you're doing it consciously. There's no right or wrong way of being meditative or to be conscious. You can move into that at any point, at any second of your life, in your own unique individual way. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. Sometimes you go into the woods and you feel deeply connected to myself. Sometimes you go into the woods and you started off this walk into the woods because you felt like, I need to change my state of being. You didn't go into the woods to embrace what you're feeling in that case. In each case, that thing turned into something that isn't meditative or bringing you closer to who it is that you are beneath the surface in the first place. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, my friends. So find your path of embracing who it is that you are. And don't listen to anyone, listen to your own heart, what it's telling you right now. And of course, it's important to create space for yourself. It's very important. If there is a lifestyle that you've been living for the longest time where you were always busy, always doing something, then to understand that, oh, I was coping with not wanting to feel. And now I need to pattern interrupt a little bit and create more space for my awareness to shift itself into something new. Your ego is ready to move out of the picture. All of your programs that kept you stuck is ready to move out of the picture. But first, you gotta be brave enough to choose to place your focus on awareness here at home.